Well, a very good morning and welcome back to the final day of individual competition at the World Championships here in Baku. We're about to get underway with the contests in the plus 100 kilo category, the heavyweight, and the opening contest on mat number 3. Round 1 is Liam Park of Australia. He's up against Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan. It's Park in the white judogi, Oltiboyev in blue. Oltiboyev came out with a bit of tape on his chin. There have been a few of the judoka who've had bruises to the chin. Normally you get that towards the end of the day after you've been roughed up a little bit with Shimiwaza, and Liam Park getting roughed up a little bit there. Nice low left-sided Morote Seonagi. Oltiboyev finishing off things in short order. I wonder if that is a sign of things to come for the day, because it's quite often the case that the heavyweights will come up with some bigger techniques in a shorter space of time than some of the lighter weights. Well, we shall see.
Tatami, first round for men over 100 kilos. In blue judogi representing Tajikistan.
He comes off one side, he goes left-sided. I'm not going to change that. Morote Seonagi was the technique. Some people might want to say Seotoshi as he went low and onto his knees, but I think I'll just stick with that. Right, on mat 3 now, Freddy Figueroa of Ecuador faces Timur Rakhimov of Tajikistan. It's Figueroa in the white judogi, Rakhimov in blue. Yeah, we might race through this if we have a few what we could term mismatches. That's some of the higher ranked fighters against some of the lower ranked fighters. Can often end up with short contests and some big ippons. Rakhimov looking to go left-sided. Figueroa shaping to go over on the right. Not really going to trouble Rakhimov with that. And Figueroa picks up a penalty for negative gripping. It's an interesting term, that. I never really thought about it. Negative gripping. Gripping is an action. Surely if there's some action, it's got to be something that you've done. Penalized for not doing an action. Okay. Uchimata from Figueroa, but Rakhimov's able to step off that fairly easily, and there's no real threat to the Tajik. Not a great deal of action from Rakhimov, to be honest, and he picks up a penalty for a false attack. Again, threatening with the Uchimata. Both fighters looking for that. Rakhimov thought about changing the direction and looking to go to the rear for Ojigari, but decided against it. Yeah, neither fighter are able to come up with a combination that would really threaten the other. A little over a minute left to go. And there is the Uchimata. Nicely done from Rakhimov. That went one way, then the other, as far as the attacks were concerned. Anyway, left Uchimata, and as Neil Adams likes to say, he just hopped that one through. A couple of hops, and over went Figueroa. So we've had 2 contests on mat 3 in round one of the round one of the plus 100 kilo category, both of them ending in Ippon, and a rather nice one there from Rakhimov. That takes him into round 2. Just have a quick look and see how many rounds we do have. 3 rounds, quarter-final, semi-final and final. That's what's going to be needed to win this. And we will have a new heavyweight world champion for the first time since 2009 in Rotterdam, when Teddy Riner won the plus 100 kilo category there. Teddy Riner not fighting, it's not an injury, it's a rest that he's taking. Anyway, on mat 3 now, Henk Grol of the Netherlands faces Mbagnik Ndei of Senegal. It's Grol in the white judogi, Ndiaye in blue. Ndiaye got backed up into this corner and has got 1 foot out of the competition area. He pick up a penalty for stepping out. I'll try and keep you up to date with regard to the draw and how that draw develops and who's going to be coming up against whom. Oh, nicely taken down there. Tanio Toshi from Henk Grol. Just got himself into a poor position, did Ndiaye, and he couldn't get out of there. Just, yeah, he was thinking about a second effort, but the thought process didn't marry with the physical. He couldn't get out of there. Henk Grol through to round 2. So, as I said, a lot of these contests finishing in short time. He thought about the Ojigari. The feet then had to turn round to get into another position, but by that time, Henk Grol had spotted the opportunity for the Tanio Toshi and takes it over. Right leg goes way over the back. Tanio Toshi, down goes Ndiaye for Ippon. Okay, let's see who we've got coming up next. We're still in round 1. And on mat 3 now, Bekbolot Toktoganov of Kyrgyzstan faces Naidan Tushinbaya of Mongolia. It's Toktoganov in the white judogi, Naidan in blue. This is one of the legends of judo. And he's still competing. Here he is on the mat. He's going to be an exceptionally difficult man to get past. He's also got a nice low Marotta Seoinage. Toganov picked up a penalty. A little bit loose with that Yoko Otoshi effort. Now Naidan picks up a penalty. Double Olympic medalist, gold medal in Beijing. And he followed that up 4 years later by taking a silver in London. He limped on to the mat in London for the final against Takir Haibulaev of Russia. Haibulaev is here, but he's wrapped things up now. He's retired. Naidan Tufshinbaya continues on. But I think what Naidan would really like is to take a medal at the World Championships. He picked up a bronze medal last year, actually, in Budapest, and despite having, won 2 Olympic medals, as I say, one in Rio, gold medal in Rio, and a silver in London, he had not, until last year, medalled at a World Championships. 2 5th places and a 7th, and then last year, really at the back end of his career, he manages to come up with a bronze medal winning performance at last year's World Championships. So let's see how he gets on here. Oh yeah, beautifully done. Naidan Tufshinbaya, another fighter in this weight category to end with Ippon. Might class that as Makikomi. I think we put that in the category of Makikomi. Naidan Tufshinbaya through to round 2. And in round 2, he will face Yuan Xiaotong of China. Unknown quantity to me. Yeah, it wasn't quite as I called it. Right, next up is Daniel Allerstorfer of Austria. He faces Alexander Gordienko of the Ukraine. It's Allerstorfer in the white judogi, Gordienko in blue. Chance for the Ojigari now, but Allerstorfer feels that coming and turns onto his front. And there's no score. Nice attack there from Gordienko. Yeah, that's going to score as well. A little bit loose there was Allerstorfer in defense. Didn't really sense the threat, and he ended up getting caught. The leg comes out. Now, Osai Komi, Tatishio Gatami from Gordienko. He's already got Wazari on the board, so another 4 seconds will do it here. Allerstorfer's not going to get out of this one, and yet another contest ends in Ippon. All of the round 1 contests that we've shown here have ended in Ippon. I think that's 5 in a row now. We're racing through this. It's 10:15 and we're in round 2 already. That's incredible. Let's have a look at some of the highlights, and then we'll be back with the first of the round 2 contests. Well, it wasn't that long ago that we saw Bekmurod Oltiboyev taking to the mat. He just made his way back now. This time he's up against David Moura of Brazil. He's in the white judogi, and Bekmurod Oltiboyev in blue. Round 2 of the plus 100 kilo category. David Moura is the number 2 seed at this competition. He had a bye in the first round. Oltiboyev, if you remember, had that win against Liam Park. He threw beautifully with Murote Sernagi left-sided in that opening contest. Let's see if he can come up with something as spectacular this time against David Moura.
The next contest on Tatami 2 is the second round for men over 100 kilos. In blue judogi for Kyrgyzstan, Yuri Krakovetsky. In white judogi for Cuba, Andy Granda.
Both fighters have managed to hold on to the sleeve, but neither fighter able to use what is usually a very strong grip. Got to be able to take advantage of having got the grip that you want. And it's the Uzbek Oltiboyev who picks up the penalty for really what I think is probably having taken that strong grip but not used it. Just held on to it too long, and he looked defensive, whereas Moura, who had the similar grip, was at least searching for an opening. Maybe that was just all that was between one picking up the penalty and not the other. Half the contest gone, no score. Oltiboyev is the player with the single Shido against him. Was huge. Real suspicion there that Oltiboyev may have come out on top, but it was really David Moura spinning out of his own Uchimata. He had nothing to do with that, but there's the left Murote Sernagi low down, and Oltiboyev catches Moura. Well, maybe that Uchimata was a wake-up call for the Uzbek. And if it was, it worked perfectly. What a thing. Out goes David Moura in round 2, the number 2 seed, having come up with a beautiful looking Uchimata that spun his opponent onto his front. The very next action was that low left-sided Murote Sernagi. It's the second time that we've seen him throw with that this morning. Look at that, jumps in straight through the defense of David Moura. Low, between the legs, left-sided, and there's no doubt about that. What a shocker. Well. That's the end of David Moura's day. The number 2 seed out in round 2. Right, coming on to the mat now, Francisco Solis of Chile. He faces Yarasil Kazibayev of Kazakhstan. Solis in the white judogi, Kazibayev in blue. The winner of this will face Oltiboyev. That David Mura losing in round 2 has really opened up this pool, because he was the number 2 seed. He was the big seeded player here, the highest seeded player in this pool C. And now really it'll be down to Oltiboyev, who's just defeated him, Javad Mahjoub of Iran, and probably Ogawa Yusei of Japan. One of those 3. Or did I just name 4? No, 3. One of those 3 of Oltiboyev, Mahjoub or Ogawa, for me, will end up heading Pool C. First minute gone, no score yet. There's a rather laboured effort at left-sided Makikomi from Solis there. No real chance of catching Kazibayev with that. Uchimata, maybe a look at Uchigari, but the Uchimata is what he finishes with. And he comes up with Wazario. There's the Osai Komi now. Shiro Kazugatami from Kazibayev. He's only got to hold him for 10 seconds. Oh, yeah. That's definitely not the Wazari Awazeti upon. The clock continued. He was out of there. He was out of there at 7 or 8. So they've changed that. Just the Wazari on the board. We can continue now. Nothing wrong with that. Good decision from the referee. He was definitely out of there. It's Hajime. Raul Camacho is the referee in the middle. Controlled that nicely. Didn't let the scoreboard take control of that one. Solis was out of there at 7, maximum 8, at which point Camacho had called the Tokita, but the clock continued, and then you heard the gong. That wasn't his fault. Minute 40 odd left to go. Kazibayev leads by Wazari, and he narrowly missed out on the Wazari Awazeti upon having held Solis for 7 or 8 seconds. 2 more would have done it. Solis fought hard to get out of there and keep his chances of doing something in the World Championships alive, at least for another minute, 20 odd seconds. Kazibayev picks up a penalty for that drop there. Unfortunate chance there for Solis. He attacks with Uchimata. Kazibayev with the arm around the waist, looking for a counter, and there it is. He does now get the Wazari Awazeti upon. Solis turns off the technique in the end, but the landing is what's important. He comes down on the scoring part of his body. He turns off the technique at the end, but not for the landing. There's the score, there's the turn. Unfortunately, the score comes first. Wazari Awazeti upon, and another contest ends before time. They all have on this mat. Not one has gone to time yet. Ippon, every fight. We might be out of here by 11 o'clock at this rate. Racing through these contests, and you can just have a highlights package of Pool C and D on the final day in the plus 100 kilo category. You get all the Ippons that you want right here. Right, coming up next, Javad Mahjoub of Iran faces Temur Rakhimov of Tajikistan. It's Mahjoub in the white judogi, Rakhimov in blue. Loredana Lascaux on the right of the shot there, former Romanian competitor, married to Daniel Lascaux. He's one of the IJF refereeing supervisors here. So Mahjoub attacking on the ground, yeah. Just needs to get the left leg across and over the head, but it's not there. Rakhimov knows that he's in a fight because Mahjoub is one of the fancied fighters in the weight category. He really could do something here today. Javad Majoub. Already, the Iranians have got 2 medals at these World Championships. A gold medal in the under 81 kilo category with Saeed Moulay. And then in the under 73 kilo category, they also picked up a bronze medal. I'm not going to say that that was a surprise bronze medal, but it was certainly a good one. I don't think there are any bad bronze medals, but I think you know what I mean. He came through well. Talking about Mohammed Mohammadi of Iran. Let's hope that there's nothing serious ailing Javad Majoub. He could do without picking up an injury in his opening contest. He had a bye to begin with. Better position here. Needs to use it though. He just can't pull the head of his opponent down. Rakhimov really needs to put in an attack. There's Majoub. Strong grips are allowed, but a dominant grip and then doing nothing from it will also result in a penalty. Looked for the Osodagari left-sided. Managed to get over there, but couldn't finish off. Half the contest gone. No score yet. Maki Komi has missed effort, but there's a turnover here if he's strong enough. And it's Majoub with the chance of the turnover, and he's still trying to work it. He needs to get underneath that body, but he can't do it. Strong defense from Rakhimov. He had his head on top of the body. He really wanted that underneath and to begin to lift up and get some leverage, but he couldn't do it. Slow to his feet again. Got the right foot heavily bandaged, but I think it's higher up where the problem is, maybe on the knee, on that right knee. What a shame. That's going to slow the big man down, I'm afraid. Low left-sided Ojigari, and then Rakhimov manages to turn off, but for once, I think Rakhimov is beginning to look passive, and he does pick up a penalty. Very slow back to his start point here. This doesn't look good. First thing in the morning, not able to get back to your start point looking sharp. He's definitely carrying some kind of injury. Best thing for Majoub is to get this over and done with quickly and get back to have some treatment on there. Almost got caught there. I don't think this is going to happen for Majoub. Not going to happen. No way with a start like this that you're going to go all day against the super heavyweights and avoid taking a loss. Whack from Rakhimov with the right foot. Almost got caught there. I think they are going to give a score, and that's it then. It was not Majoub's day, and he's had to tap out. So a second seed goes out in Pool C. David Mura was the first to fall. Now Javad Majoub, sadly, wasn't looking anywhere near the Majoub that we know or had hoped to see, and he falls in round 2. Carnage then in Pool C already. So Javad Majub out, but in all honesty, it was going to happen, if not in this contest, in the next one. He just didn't have his body in the right condition. That was what it was. Taped up, and we couldn't see the strapping around the knee, but no doubt there was one there too. Okay, coming up next, round 2 contest between Harun Sadikovic of Bosnia-Herzegovina. He faces Ogawa Yusei of Japan. It's Sadikovic in the white judogi, Ogawa in blue. Anybody's pool now, C. Altiboyev, Kazibayev, Rahimov, and Ogawa. You pick out from that quartet who you think is going to head the pool. You don't have to be a rocket scientist for that one. Loretta Cusack-Doyle is sitting a couple of seats away from me, and she was talking about this when Frank de Witt of the Netherlands went out in his pool. It just opened everything up, and all of a sudden there were people crashing out left, right and center. Well, that's happened here. We've lost Mura, we've lost Majub. The biggest shock here would be to lose Ogawa, who wasn't seeded in any case, but you know, you'd put your money on the Japanese now to just cruise through this pool. The 2 seeded players that could have caused Ogawa any trouble have both gone out. The coach for Ogawa is Suzuki Keiji of Japan. We were talking about Naidan Tushinbaya, and it was Naidan who put Suzuki out in Beijing. No medal for the Japanese there. Well, Suzuki's in the chair now, and he must fancy the chances for one of 2 of the Japanese in this weight category. The other one is Harazawa Hisayoshi. So 2 Japanese in the weight category, and things really beginning to open up for them now. Harazawa is up in Pool B, I think. He's already put out Rafael Silva of Brazil, the number 4 seed. The seeds are just getting smashed here today, all going tumbling. I'll give you the lineup for round 3 immediately after this contest. Although we still have 4 contests in Pool D to come in round 2, but just give you an update of how things are going with the rest of the draw. No score between Sadikovic and Ogawa. Sadikovic has picked up 2 penalties, Ogawa just the 1. And having seen so many attractive contests this morning, this one is a bit of a dud. Not quite sure what Ogawa has in mind here, but he hasn't gone out of his way. He's allowed Sadikovic to pick up the 2 penalties, and he's just coasting on the back of waiting for the 3rd. That's how it appears to me. 24 seconds left to go. Sadikovic attacks there on the left side. It's a weak one, however, and Ogawa is able to avoid getting caught without any trouble at all. Uchimata eventually, with 2 seconds left to go, Ogawa keeps us waiting before he launches a beautiful left-sided Uchimata. This is, you know, you may as well save yourself all the trouble. Just come and look at Pool C and D on mat 3 on the final day, and all the ippons you want are right here. We waited for 3 minutes and 58 seconds of not the greatest action before Ogawa decided, hang on a minute, everyone else has got ippon, why can't I? Had a quick look at the clock, thought, running out of time here, I've got 2 seconds left, I better go. And when he did, there was the result. Look at that. Actually was, that was really unfair of me on Ogawa. It wasn't 2 seconds, it was 3. Right, well, we could have a completely different contest from all the others that have gone this morning, because coming onto the mat now is the current Olympic champion at under 100 kilos, Lucas Kapalik. He faces Henk Grol of the Netherlands. It's the Czech fighter in the white judogi and the Dutchman in blue. Round 2 of the plus 100 kilo category. Kapalik having moved up from under 100 to plus 100. He still has the gold back patch on his back. Grol too moved up from under 100 kilo category. So the two fighters are well known to each other, albeit, oh, there might be a Shido there. Yep, there will be. And Grol realized that as soon as he put his hand on there. And then it was as though, really? What for? He knew. Because he took his hand away. He may be forgiven for thinking that there was a situation there, but not with Kapalik still on his feet. One of the fighters remained in Tachiwaza. So until both are in Newaza, a Tachiwaza, and there again, well, surely that is a second Shido. Well, what was the difference there? Kapalik wanted to continue in Tachiwaza. That must be a Shido. They've stopped to have a look at this, but for my money, you know, Kapalik was on his feet. He never got involved in a Newaza situation. Tachiwaza, yeah, absolutely. And a second penalty. And Hajime, Grol puts his arms out as if to say, you know, what's going on? But there's not a single movement from Martin Arends, the coach in the chair for the Netherlands. And the reason for that is Martin Arends knows the rules. He's a sharp coach, he knows his business, he didn't even nod his head in disagreement. He knows, and quite clearly, Henk Grol doesn't. You've got to get back onto it, is what Martin Arends is telling him now. You've got 2 penalties against you. You have to start concentrating here. So busy with that last explanation that I may have missed the step out. I'm not sure if there was indeed a step out from Grol. This could be disaster for the Dutchman. Nope, we continue mercifully. He's got another chance here. Kapalik goes to the ground, and that is just to avoid the grip from Grol. So he picks up a penalty. Temiwaza from Kapalik. Grol manages to block that. And we've got half the contest. Unfortunate for Grol. If he genuinely doesn't understand the rules, then what's he doing at this kind of level? You know, you could understand that from one of the lesser countries. where they probably don't compete on the IGF World Tour as much. But not from a competitor of Grohl's standing. Good grip here from the Dutchman, needs to use this. Oh, and he's turned him there and he scores. So you can bury the 2 penalties now, because it's Henk Grohl who leads with 1.5 minutes left to go. Kapalik is now the one who's got to come up with something special. Grohl has to remain penalty-free. He can't afford to give up another penalty. He's got 1.5 minutes, and if he can avoid giving up a score, he will put out the Olympic champion from the under 100 kilo category. That's all that he's got to do. Keep the Olympic champion at bay and don't pick up the penalty. Turned that Kapalik attack and picked up the Wazari did Grohl. 1:20 left to go. Kapalik searching for a grip. Tatami it's not a strong one, and Grohl manages to step off that. Now looking for something on the ground. He's perfectly happy to stay down there, burn some of the clock. Here comes the attempted turnover. Just be careful not to go inside the leg, and the referee calls mate. 50-odd seconds, 57 seconds left to go. Told you we'd have a different contest from the rest. Now Grohl knows that Kapalik's coming. There's nothing wrong with that. Tatami was her effort. No way that Kapalik is going to have a false attack at this stage. He wanted to throw him with the Tatami Waza. Arms round the waist now. Ojigari. Oh, that was close. Up he gets. Grohl coming under some serious pressure now. 36 seconds left to go. Here comes the Czech fighter again. Straight on the grips, round the waist. One more time for the Ojigari. Kosotogaki tries, and now he catches him for Ippon. Well, when it came for the asking, what have you got? Kapalik came up with the answer. 26 seconds were left on the clock when he executed that Kosotogaki, and he caught the Dutchman for Ippon. Couldn't keep him off. Henk Grohl, he'd come up with a good score. There was a minute or so when he held out. And in the end, it didn't have anything to do with the penalties, mercifully. Although Grohl put himself at a bit of a disadvantage early by picking up those 2 rather loose penalties. He then came up with the score, and after that, it was just about who was going to score. Henk Grohl of the Netherlands goes out. Lucas Kapalik goes into round 3. And another contest ends with Ippon. Every single contest. Even the one that went to 2 or 3 seconds. Whew. Wow. What a morning. What a morning. Oh, dear. Right, coming up next, Bekbulut Toktoganov of Kyrgyzstan was defeated by Naidan Tushinbaya. That put the Mongolian into round 2. So here is his round 2 contest. He's up against Yuan Xiaotong of China. Naidan Tushinbaya, the shorter of the 2 fighters, against Yuan Xiaotong. Yuan in the white judogi, Naidan in blue. David and Goliath, isn't it? Look. Well, the Chinese have been searching for a male heavyweight for a long time. They may very well have found one in Yuan. Oh, over the top. Can't hang on there for too long. And then he gets back on the right side. Well, if Mr. Yuan can do some judo, Naidan's in trouble here, because he's definitely got the size, hasn't he? Oh. Almost caught him with the Sasai Tsurikomiyashi. Song Denam, the coach in the chair for the Chinese. And now Naidan has got to step off. He got a bit of a bump to the lip there and needs to have some blood wiped from the lip. Shouldn't take too long, and then we'll be back on. The Olympic champion from 2012 in the under 90 kilo category. Not her, the previous shot. And it's not that one either. Never mind. Sure, we'll locate Song Dae-nam in a minute. Sanne van Dijk in the middle of that shot, sitting alongside yesterday's silver medal winner in the under 78 kilo category. That was Guusje Steenhuis of the Netherlands. But it shouldn't be too long before we're back underway with part 2 of Yuen Xiaotong and Naidan Tufshinbaya. State of the contest at the moment is no score. We've got 3 minutes and 13 seconds left on the clock. Yan Zi is the fighter on the right side of that shot. Lost out in her contest with Asma Niang of Morocco. That's a Chinese athlete there in the grey. And the one yawning, well, she lost out yesterday in the under 78 kilo category. She gave a really good account of herself, and it could be, actually, I think she's only 20, so it could be that we'll see her around on the circuit on the IJF International Tour in the months to come. Ma Zhenjiao, that is, and she's coached by a former Olympic champion, so she's got good pedigree. In fact, that almost all of that women's team from 70 kilos up. I've got Yang Zhuli, the Olympic champion from Beijing, under 78 kilos, coaching them. So they've got a good group. But we are concentrating on the plus 100 kilo category now, and coming back to the tatami. Kirill Denisov of Russia lost out in his opening contest. That was a tough draw for the Russian. Anyway, we're back to Yuen and Naidan. Yuen, a giant of a man from China in the white judogi. No score yet. We're inside. Well, we've had the first minute anyway. It's going to be tricky to catch Yuen with that. You're going to need a little bit more movement. Batolga in the chair for Naidan. Again, looking to go over the top. We'll go left-sided, perhaps with Harai Goshi. Again, he's threatened with the little ash he was, and it just knocks Yuen to the ground, and he picks up a penalty for passivity. Oh, no, not quite. Yeah, we were talking about the left Harai Goshi, but maybe it was more like Osodagari from Yuen. Where do they find them? I haven't seen him before, Yuen. All of a sudden, here he is, threatening. This bodes well for China as far as the team event is concerned, because they've struggled with the men, and now that we have mixed teams, 3 men, 3 women, you really need to have a top draw men's program if you're going to be competitive. No doubt that, oh, that was nicely done. Koji Gaki from Naidan Tufshinbaya takes Yuen Xiaotong backwards, but he turns onto his front and avoids giving up the score. And just to finish off on that men's program, if they can really develop something for the men, They're going to be very competitive. 57, under 70, and plus 70 are the weights for women. Under 73, under 90, and plus 90 are the weights for women. So that's where you want to be looking. So you need a good heavyweight, and Yuan Xiaotong may be what the Chinese have been looking for. Naidan at last getting a bit of movement in. Doesn't want to stand around and wait for Yuan to attack him. Yuan could pick up a second penalty because he really hasn't been attacking. And maybe let this go one more roll of the dice. Yeah, no, he does pick up a second penalty. Minute 24 left to go. Naidan is clever enough now to know exactly how to deal with Yuan, and he'll probably encourage a third penalty. Sometimes it's down to the tactics. It's up to Yuan now to look at the scoreboard, realize where the problem is, and do something about it. And the thing that he's got to do is come up with some attacks. Going to claim the score there. I would if I were Naidan. Fancy that. Or Saikomi. If he can just keep Yuan there, it won't matter about the score. He's got to keep him there for 10 seconds to get the Wazari. Anything more than that, and it won't matter anyway. There's the score. It'll be too late now when they get to their feet. Naidan is going to take this one, irrespective of whether they had a look at that and thought it was a score or not. It's Naidan Tuvshinbaya who puts out Yuan Xiaotong of China. Naidan will face Lucas Kapalik. That was a good battle, and again, it's one that finishes before time. Let's have a look. Maybe he was still avoiding the technique, but he could have claimed it. It doesn't matter. They went on into Newaza, and Naidan finished it off there. We haven't had an hour yet, and we are not that far from starting round 3. I better tell them to get lunch on early today. Going to be out of here soon. What a morning it's been. Absolutely spanking. So many good techniques. As soon as we've finished with the next 2 contests, I'll give you a roundup of what to expect as far as the round 3 contests are concerned. Right, coming up next, Maciej Szanaszki of Poland faces Aleksander Gordienko of Ukraine. Szanaszki in the white judogi, Gordienko in blue. Szanaszki had a bye in the first round. Aleksander Gordienko defeated Daniel Alestorfer of Austria. Szanaszki was looking for the Kosotagaki there. Just threatened the Ukrainian, but he ducked underneath with the head. That's what gave him the opening, to be honest. He comes up with it again, and this time he scores Wazari, neatly executed from the Polish fighter. And now Osei Komi as well. Not sure if it's the strongest of Osei Waza ever seen, and it isn't. The referee has to call Tokita, and the hold is broken. That's Gordienko going down and giving up the score. Gordienko picks up a penalty as well. There's a penalty up against a Polish fighter as well. But he does have Wazari on the board, more importantly. 2:40-odd left to go. And again, attacking strongly, Ukrainian fighter.
Руки чуть сзади, Саня. Право, право, остановиться надо. Вставай, 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 получится, Саня, бросай.
.220-odd left to go. Gordienko coming up with an attack now.
Second round for women over 78 kilos, the number 2. In blue judo representing Hungary, Mercedes. In white judo representing Brazil, Beatriz Souza.
Still just the single Wazari, the lead for Sanaski. Looking good at the moment for the Polish fighter. He attacks again with his favorite Koso Dagaki and brings Gordienko crashing down there for yet another Ippon. Every fight ended by Ippon, and there was zero doubt about that. That was as flat on your back as they get. What a lineup we've got. Terrific. Right, so before the upcoming contest, I'll just run through quickly what it looks like in the top half of the draw. Guram Tusishvili will face Iachiv Kamo. Roy Meyer will face Zako Chulam. It'll be Harazawa Hisayoshi to face Kim Min Jong. Ulzibaya Durenbaya will face Andy Grander. Bekmurod Oltiboyev comes up against Yesal Kazibayev. Timur Rahimov faces Ogawa Yusei. Lucas Kopalik comes up against Naidan Tufshinbaya. Sanashki goes through to round 3, and he's going to face the winner of the upcoming contest between Ushangi Kokauri of Azerbaijan. He faces Vladislav Sidopitsky of Belarus. Kokauri in the white judogi, Sidopitsky in blue. It's the first time that we've seen either of these two. It's a round 2 contest. They both had byes in round 1, so it's our first look at Kokauri in the white judogi, Sidopitsky in blue. I was in the elevator with Sidopitsky this morning when Esther Stam asked me, who do I think is going to win the plus 100 kilo category? And I was only standing a meter or so away from Sidopitsky, so I thought I'd better say the Belarusian then. And she looked at me as though, how could you pick, someone who she doesn't even rate? And then I pointed out that we were standing right next to him, so that went down well. Here he is. Uchigari, and it's not going to be the Belarusian because I think they're going to change that. That was just too good. Absolutely super Uchigari. Velimati Karankanta saying that was Wazari. So I think that might be it from. There's he lands on the side and goes on his back, and I think that's what they fancied. Yeah. It just looked like that to me. But hey, he's got the better position, and that's what he thought. His colleagues decided otherwise, and Ippon it is for Ushangi Kokauri. Yeah, good one. Okay. Well, that wraps up all the round 2 contests. We now come to round 3 very quickly. To round 3, but I've been saying that for a while. We're going to have another look at Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan. He faces his neighbor, Yarasil Kazikbayev of Kazakhstan. It's Oltiboyev in the white judogi, Kazikbayev in blue. Maybe Kashi, our stadium announcer said. I bow to his superior knowledge of former Soviet names, so maybe he's got that down, hasn't he? Well, Oltiboyev has pulled off 2 beautiful low left-sided Marote Sernagis. He tries another there, but it's blocked by Kashibayev, and that was not the best of them. Mind you, I'm sure he'll have another go. Just testing out the water there, wasn't he? Didn't really give it everything. Because when he has, they've gone over for Ippon. Uchimata was what Kashibayev used against Solis of Chile in round 2. Francisco Solis went over to that.
Без захвата не лезь.
Again, the Uchimata, that's the danger, isn't it? He's kind of fallen into that Osai Komi though, isn't he? Kazuri Tatishio Gatami from Oltiboyev. Doesn't look the strongest, but he's managing to trap Kashibayev there, and he's not going to get out of that one. He actually turns a little bit more into it. Shoulders trapped there. He can't get out. Cannot escape. Bekmurod Oltiboyev goes through. To the quarterfinal now. Into the quarterfinal. Kashibayev goes out. Yeah, he tries to make a change of direction there, and then Oltiboyev looks for the Juju Gatami. It isn't there, he just sits on top. And Tatishio Gatami, or Kazuri Tatishio Gatami, is what does for Kashibayev. Coming up next, Temur Rakimov of Tajikistan faces Ogawa Yusei of Japan. It'll be Rakimov in the white judogi, Ogawa in blue. The winner of this will face Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan in the 3rd of the quarterfinals. 2 quarterfinals in the top half of the draw, Pool A and B. I'll let you know what the quarterfinal lineup is when we get that far. But for the time being, it's Rakimov and Ogawa. Ogawa a little bit more active in this contest than he was in his first. Just has the suggestion of looking for an opening, whereas the previous contest he was perfectly happy just to wander around for a bit and see whether his opponent picked up a few penalties. There's a little bit of Ashi was. I can't quite finish off there. He may be able to turn Rakhimov into the Osai Komi. Here it comes. Just was a little bit loose in allowing Rakhimov to make a full turn. He wanted a half turn that would have ended up with Rakhimov on his back, but he didn't sense that in coming out. He may be inexperienced, Ogawa. I'd put it down to that. You kind of know where your opponent is going to go in nearwaza, and you want to make sure that you're in the right place, so when they get there, you can execute whatever turnover technique it is that you had in mind and that you'd planned for him. But Ogawa kind of allowed that one to get away from him.
Nici data vedere tu, e tu si che non mi faccio che ci sono. Judo problem. Judo ya. Aktarlı Tatami. Bangladesh, Rengi, Avrupa gibi sağlanan Afrika, Doğu Britanya.
Again, missing out on the ground. It's not over yet, but, well, it is now. You know, you really have to take advantage when there's that kind of chance on the ground. Well, Rakhimov slow to his feet, holding on to his elbow. I'm not quite sure what it is that he didn't like, but maybe the action that took him to the ground. They're having a look at this. Ogawa may have taken his opponent down to the ground with an illegal action. That's what they're talking about. Let's have a look and see. Well, it's not something that Ogawa could have done anything about here. This is going to be the, you know, it's unfortunate. He gets wrapped up, his arm gets wrapped up and it goes around his back. But it's not Ogawa's fault here. It's not something that he has taken control of and done. It's an accidental action that really Ogawa was not party to, I don't think. It'd be very severe if he picks up a penalty for this. Oh, and they are going to adjudge Ogawa to have been guilty of a throwing action whilst applying an arm lock. Well, that is, because that would be the penalty. The Hansoku-make goes against Ogawa. And out goes Ogawa. This is the action again. Well, it's unfortunate when that happens and a player gets penalized for a dangerous action. It was dangerous, and it was Ogawa that carried out the action, so he ends up getting the Hansoku-make. Oltiboyev will face Rakhimov. But coming onto the mat now, Lukas Kopalik of the Czech Republic faces Naidan Tuvshinbaya of Mongolia. It'll be Kopalik in the white judogi, Naidan in blue. We've got the Olympic champion from the under 100 kilo category in Rio facing the Olympic champion from the under 100 kilo category in Beijing. Two Olympic champions on the mat. The current Olympic champion at under 100 kilo category, the former Olympic champion at under 100, but from quite a way back now in Beijing. This for a place in the quarter-final. Naidan trying to work past the legs, but Kopalik managing to trap that one. The referee called Mate. Nice bit of action there. Well, they're going to allow that because that is from Tachiwaza. We've seen it with the Hink roll contest. He was still standing up. Naidan was hooking the arm in. This is not a Newaza situation. They are still in Tachiwaza. It's perfectly possible for Kopalik to throw. Now, the question here will be whether it is Wazari or Ippon. And I think that it's better for Wazari. Yes, it's a score, but I think it's Wazari. Yeah, that's better. And a Shido to go with it. Yep, and I think they've handled that really well. It was a Newaza, it was a Tachiwaza situation. The question was there a score? The other thing that was involved in there was Naidan had grabbed a leg, and that he was guilty of a punishable offence with Shido, so he picked up the Shido. They then had a look at the landing and decided that it wasn't worth Ippon. We'll cancel that, we'll give Wazari. So I think that went well. Well, it went well for Kopalik. It didn't go so well for Naidan, did it? But the fighters have got to realise, you know, what is scoreable and not. A little over a minute and a half left to go. Kapalik leads by Wazari. Naidan attacking. I don't think there is no... Hang on to that. Oh. Well, Naidan taps out. Did Kapalik take that over? If he did, then there's a second Wazari, and Wazari Awazeti Ipan, and it's Kapalik who goes through. So Kapalik knocks out, or puts out, Naidan Tufshinbaya of Mongolia. There won't be another world medal for the Mongolian. That's gone now. Handshake at the end. Kapalik into the quarter-final. We'll have a look at the highlights from this one, and then we'll be back with more action. In the meantime, I can update you with regard to the quarter-final lineup as it is now. Guram Tusishvili of Georgia will face Roy Meyer of the Netherlands. It'll be Harazawa Hisayoshi of Japan to face Ulzibaya Durenbaya of Mongolia. Let's just get this last round 3 contest underway. Ushangi Kokauri. So let's get that right from the get-go. Maciej Szanaszki of Poland faces Ushangi Kokauri of Azerbaijan. It's Szanaszki in the white judogi, Kokauri in blue. The winner of this will face Lukas Kapalik of the Czech Republic, and we were partway through the quarter-final lineup. The third quarter-final features Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan. He comes up against Timur Rakhimov of Tajikistan. And as I say, the winner of this one will face Lukas Kapalik of the Czech Republic. Szanaszki flirting with danger here. We're not out of the first minute yet, and he picks up a second penalty. He's thrown beautifully this morning, Szanaszki, mind you, so too Kokauri. So both fighters very attacking. Kokauri close to coming up with a counter to the Ashiwaza with a little bit of Teiwaza. It didn't quite come off. Oh, terrific counter there. Szanaszki looking for his favorite Koso Tagaki. But it was Kokauri that felt that coming, turned his opponent and put him flat on his back. That's a great counter. There's the movement from Szanaszki looking for the counter. Look at the Polish coach. When Szanaszki got airborne, he was out of his chair. He knew what was the result of that. Ushangi Kokauri into the quarterfinal. Right, let me give you that quarterfinal line up once again. Why not? You know, give us something to talk about. Gurem Tusishvili of Georgia will face Roy Meyer of the Netherlands in the first of the quarterfinals. The second quarterfinal features Harazawa Hisayoshi of Japan. He's up against Ulzibaya Durenba of Mongolia. Quarterfinal number 3 is a bit of a surprise package. It's Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan. He comes up against Temur Rakimov of Tajikistan, and then the last of the quarterfinals features Lukas Kopalik of the Czech Republic. He'll be up against Ushangi Kokauri of Azerbaijan. We'll have all of that for you in about 5 minutes' time.
Il gruppo Judo representing Tajikistan.
Well, the fighters are making their way back to mat number 3 for the quarterfinals, and the first of the quarterfinals that we're going to see features Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan. He's up against Timur Rakhimov of Tajikistan. It's Oltiboyev in the white judogi, Rakhimov in blue. Rakhimov may have a little bit of a sore arm as he was taken down by Ogawa Yusei of Japan in their round 3 contest with a dangerous move that resulted in the Japanese receiving Hansokumake disqualification. That left Rakhimov with a bit of a sore arm, and whether he will be the worse for wear, we don't know. Anyway, here he is on the mat up against Bekmurod Oltiboyev, who's thrown beautifully today with left-sided Morote Seonagi. Let's see if he can get in there again. And there, just as I said it, he's off and he goes again. He's not getting quite as deep as he would like, and he can't get the kind of drive that would take Rakhimov over. Rakhimov has thrown with left Uchimata himself today, and he's looked, you know, reasonably sharp in the couple of contests that he's been involved in, against Freddy Figueroa in the first instance, and then against an under par and injury carrying Javad Majoub of Iran. Not quite enough for a score. Missed that opportunity there for the Shimawaza. 2.5 minutes left to go. Should make for an interesting little tussle between this pair. Again, not quite in the right position there. Uchimata, again, from Rakhimov. He's threatened twice already with that. It's not a bad little effort from the Tajik. Minute and a half left to go. No scorers yet. Almost got turned there, Rakhimov. He's looked a little bit better in this contest than he did in the first 2 that I saw, and he has threatened with that Uchimata. He could catch Oltiboyev, but we haven't seen Oltiboyev really get in a good position for his Morote Seonagi. Very close from Rakhimov. He's coming into this now, really beginning to look as though he could take this contest. Oltiboyev a bit sleepy. His coach up on his feet, encouraging him on. There's the Osodogari. Almost countered. Doing the right thing, however. Oltiboyev attacking, being as positive as possible. Again, threatening with the Uchimata. Well, this is the first contest on this mat that is going to go to time and indeed go into golden score. So golden score it is then.
Third round for the women over 78 years. Tatami Judo. In blue judo representing Korea, Han Min-ji. In white judo representing Japan, the world champion Asahina Sada.
Again, blocked there by Rakhimov. He's had 3 or 4 goes at that, as Oltiboyev, but Rakhimov has managed to block him on every occasion so far. Well, likewise, the efforts of Rakhimov with the Uchimata every time he's been in there. Oltiboyev has managed to avoid getting caught. Minute of golden score. Uchimata effort there from Rakhimov again. Both fighters beginning to tire now. Still searching for a score. Single Shido against Rakhimov. Oltiboyev is penalty-free. And we're a minute and 25 into the golden score period. Trying to look for the Osotogari. But he's hung on to one side for a little bit too long. And he picks up a penalty. Oh, and then Rakhimov gets himself into a poor position. Oltiboyev takes advantage of it and throws his opponent with a big Harai Makikomi. Well, maybe not any Makikomi involved in that at all. Arm around the collar. A big Harai motion. And Oltiboyev it is, who takes his place in the semi-final. Well, that is amazing. Oltiboyev into the semi-final. Rakhimov goes down into the repechage contest. Let's have a look at the highlights from this one, and then we'll come back with the second quarterfinal that will determine who Oltiboyev will have as his opponent. Big Haragoshi then. Right, on mat number 3 now, Lukas Kopalek of the Czech Republic faces Ushangi Kokauri of Azerbaijan. It's Kopalek in the white judogi, Kokauri in blue. The winner of this will face Bekmurad Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan in the second of the semi-finals. Ashiwaza from Kokari, but it doesn't catch Kapalik. It goes on to his front and there's no score. Kokari actually has looked really good today. Worthy of a quarter-final spot in the World Championships. He'll have to go some to get past Kapalik, however. Uchimata, and Kapalik just manages to get a right hand down to avoid going over. Kokari now working on the ground, but the stronger of the two on the ground is Kapalik. He manages to take this over. Kokari now is on his back, and Kapalik misses the chance for a Kamishio Gatami. That was close. Kokari mixing it up with Kapalik in Nearwaza, and that is a bit of a surprise. And we're back underway. No scorers yet. Uchimata. Well, they'll take a little bit of a pause here. There is a point at which Kapalik decides, I'm going to attempt to counter here. Here's the Uchimata. Is it complete? I don't think so. No, it's not complete, so there shouldn't be a score. Well, Rosari it is then. For me, Kapalik is attempting his throw, which means that if he does and he lands first, he can't come up with a score, so there can't be any score to Kapalik. But Kokari, his hands are out and he's looking to protect himself at the finish there, and they decide to give Rosari. Well, they can tidy up their geese here. Kapalik can start sorting himself out. The lead is 1 Wazari for Kokari. Last action, a few people fancied that it was worth a score, but Kokari was guilty of just taking his jacket out, undoing his own jacket. He picked up a penalty for that. Ojigari left-sided from Kapalik. We've got 1:49 left to go. Another effort there from Kokari. I think Kapalik trailed in a previous contest and he came back to win. That was against Henk Grohl. I suspect the same thing is going to happen here. Kokari is already showing signs of being burnt out. Ojigari, down goes Kokari onto the right side, and Kapalik is indeed level now. Yep, saw that one coming. Ojigari down onto the side, and I think there's more to come from Kapalik as he senses that Kokari is already spent physically and he's looking for a winning score as the Czech giant. Uchimata tries to follow it up. Oh, well, Kapalik can't score because he's in the process of countering. And now this will be interesting. Doesn't look as though Kokari felt that he had scored. That was the odd thing. Let's see what they decide. That looks dangerous to me with the Tewaza. Well, didn't see that in the initial action. Let's see where this one is going to go. Zari, Rossetti Ipon. Yep, he turned it. In the replay, it looks better than it did live. I didn't see it live, but in the replay, you can see him take it over. Shangi Kukari into the semi-final. Kapalik may be a medal, but it won't be the gold. He will not be the new heavyweight champion. Well, let's have a look and see on the replay how that one unfolded. No chance of Kapalik having a score here. This has all got to do with Kukari. Misses there and turns, yep. I'm afraid so. He misses with his technique. It's taken over by Kukari. We saw that a day or two ago in another contest. And it is Kukari who goes into the semi-final. Join us again when we bring you all the action from the repechage contests and medal matches. But from the first part of the day, it's bye-bye for now.
Second round for the women over 78 kilos, Tatami. Individually for Croatia, Judo. In white jersey. Second round for the women over 78 kilos, Tatami. Individually for Croatia, Judo. In white jersey for Japan, the World Championships silver medalist, Asahina. Second round for the women over 78 kilos, Tatami. Individually for Croatia, Judo. In white jersey for Japan, the World Championships silver medalist, Asahina.
Das ist der Kampfkorder! Das ist der Kampfkorder, Timo!